Good Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast with me, your host, ImperialDane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of the Reich, and all that. And today I have for you a 1 vs 1 on Angoville. Yes, indeed, we will be going back to Angoville, which is, of course, divided by that road right through everything. Bocage running right through it, meaning, of course, there's a tiny crossroads here, which is very nice to mine. And, of course, we do have this sort of compartmentalized area, which can be a bit difficult to hold in some cases due to the great amount of dead angles sort of existing here, where weapons won't really be able to get any efficiency before the enemy is too close with grenades, flamethrowers, or mother-in-laws. While the western area is a lot more open, but at the same time though it only contains one victory point, which of course means yes, I can hold this, because no dead angles, I can hold everything. Yes, great, but trouble is your opponent's holding the other two victory points, or at least that's how it tends to be. In particular, I find this as the Wehrmacht that I'm rather having a lot easier time holding the west rather than the east, and so I sort of go about that, and then I charge through in the east, but there we go. And let us go have a look at the two opposing forces. In the south we are seeing the Panzer Elite with the Schwimmwagen, seeing more Schwimmwagens than usual, I might add. A few flak feelings as usual, but there we go. 17th SS Ausklarungs squadron. And who shall be opposing these chaps? It shall be, my goodness, it's that dashing chap, ImperialDane, of the, I don't know, 26th Infantry Division, making his way through France. And let us get right down to it. In fact, I might add, this fellow was a smurf. Apparently he was trying out some sort of new strategy, as he'll probably be telling me very soon, so I have no idea, but he's actually not bad. He's not making, mistakes or anything. Well, at least anything really stupid. So I figure he's pretty bad, and he's also pretty well mannered. At least barracks going up, nothing unusual there. Engineers popping out. I'm sort of wondering what new strat means, although I'm sort of figuring in this state it probably involves something with the logistic company, and he is setting up one. Of course, I don't know. That's of course the interesting bit. Engineers popping to both sides, going for the usual thing. I mean, if there's some sort of new strat you don't usually want to be too experimental, then you usually want something solid that can actually handle a lot of things being thrown at you. But engineers popping towards both sides. Schwimmwagen going through here rather heavily. Rather curious as to what sort of thing he's rather hoped to achieve with this strat there. Or strategy, as other people might call it. Schwimmwagen sort of dashing about, looking a bit nervously around. Rifleman almost ready. Logistic company still not ready. Riflemen do arrive on the field, and there we go. Logistic company is up and apparently already setting something about. Probably going to be a scout car, and this is going to be a really experimental and go for munitions half-tracks. Yes, I shall control the world with my munition half-tracks. And their mines. Fat chance. But going for the fuel point right there, nothing unusual there. All the riflemen are moving in at the same time, sort of perhaps hoping to spot anyone trying to take that fuel point. But of course, have to see how that works out. Riflemen moving in. Fuel point almost taken. There we go, the riflemen are arriving. Opening up on the Schwimmwagen. Opening up. Quite damaged already, but then it seems to be, well, a lot more resistant. Well, there we go, damaged engine. And then nothing else seems to be working. Perfect timing from him, although perhaps not quite perfect, since the Schwimmwagen is sort of heavily damaged. It's on fire, and I'd rather retort with a bulletproof rear, since apparently I can't knock it out, but then somehow, just as it's out of line, a bullet hits it and it crashes out of control into the tree. No. And there we go, first scout car is out. Sonderkraftfahrzeug 22, armed with only a light machine gun, moving out. Opening up on these riflemen. Rather compelling them to sort of move out, sort of hoping to perhaps sort of be able to pull it in up to close range where they can do more damage, but Angoville is a bit of trouble sort of figuring out where its dead angle is, so I can sort of get it, but there we go. There we go, scout car moves in right up to the riflemen, then sort of weaves out. Riflemen sort of can't decide if they want to follow my orders or not. A bit annoyed at that. More riflemen moving in, perhaps hoping to deliver some more firepower down upon this scout car. There we go. And going for jeeps, since jeeps can actually do quite a bit of damage against scout cars with the light machine guns with the 30 calibers. There we go, and scout car taking quite a bit of firepower. They aren't really bulletproof, keep that in mind. Another charging in, sort of making things a bit more difficult. Still ends up taking a bit of damage rather than popping into the building. Scout cars get out of there, though they have themselves taken quite a bit of damage. Rifleman will have to get out and continue the hunt, though if we can get off a good kill, that would be nice. And there we go, Jeep joining in as well. And another one, being a bit bold chap that I am, I sort of figure that might work. Rifleman moving in, Jeep also might be wanting to move in, there we go. Scout cars coming under quite a bit of fire. Third scout car on the field. Rifleman opening up. And on the scout car moving in from the south. Jeep number 2 arriving. And the scout car is moving in from the north. Scout cars have taken quite a bit of damage, and then I sort of perhaps make a fumble right here. Instead of continuing to hunt them down, I actually sort of get rather complacent and begin to take down territory right here, of course. That's not bad, but at the same time with 2 heavily damaged scout cars, I think it might have been better to actually try and hunt it down. That was sort of one of my mistakes right there. But moving in the jeeps then. Although I again probably shouldn't be firing away at this one, I probably should be looking for the more damaged ones. And do the terrible things I want to do against those. Panzergrenadiers immediately begin repairing scout cars, of course. Panzergrenadiers are not very good at repairing. There we go, scout car number 1 under quite a bit of fire. And we are seeing the logistic upgrade on one. Damaged engine on one scout car. Keep suddenly finding themselves with a bit more firepower being directed at them than they would like. And again, I still feel I perhaps shouldn't have been broken off so easily, and I should have probably added in those riflemen. There you go. Hindsight is always nice, but it doesn't actually help you in the direct moment. But supply yard going up, figuring I want something a bit more armor to perhaps deal with this, and I'm probably expecting something like an armored car as well to sort of join in as well in this, but there we go. Fuel point is secured, giving him of course more fuel. Cheeky sort of course, I'm sort of lacking it since I haven't been able to take this point that has been rendered taken by the Panzer Elite. Rifleman sort of sneaking about. Jeeps getting repaired themselves, and of course he's getting his scout cars repaired, a bit unfortunately right there. And Panzergrenadiers are immediately retreating, probably going to be setting something up, and Logistic Company has something else on the way. What though? I do not know, but a Panzer Jaeger command is also coming along. Putting down mines, since I'm rather expecting something to come here, and in which case I want mines to actually make that much harder for my opponent. There's certainly going to be a lot of mines in this game, trust me. Jeeps getting ready. Riflemen might want to get ready to sort of move in as well. More engineers in fact arriving, and there we go, Jeeps charging in, and I do believe that is another scout car. In fact he has 4 at this stage, sort of putting them down at all points he can. Panzer Jaeger command still going down, riflemen moving in. Mines going down. A bit too slow approach here, I feel. Again, I'm sort of being a bit too passive. Again, I'm not sure what to expect. And I'm rather finding my jeeps aren't that much of a help. At least not against this sort of huge amount of scout cars. But there you go, opening up. Riflemen might want to pull out, and I might want to get those jeeps into the fight. Sadly, I seem to be a bit too passive here. I fear my apologies. But more mines being laid down right here, wanting to make sure this is going to be a very hard area to enter, and of course due to the sort of bottleneck nature of it, it's certainly going to be a lot easier. Riflemen retreating, jeeps still standing about doing absolutely nothing. And armored car probably going to be on the way from here. And looks like Panzergrenadiers also received 4-man squads, so sort of from a unusual start, he's moving into the sort of usual thing. Lots of Panzergrenadiers, probably with assault rifles and then armored cars. So while he might claim it's a new strat, I don't think it's really that new. I mean, it's not really a huge variety, it's just slightly different. Anti-tank gun on the way, figuring they might want to do a bit more damage right there. Further mines being laid down. Lots and lots of mines everywhere. Pretty much mining every single possible approach. And there we go, first armored car. Or at least more armored, at least better well armed. Scout cars looking may have something in mind. Armored doctrine is chosen, and I'd rather go for the bit where I can get my anti-tank guns out a bit faster as well. It looks like he's preparing for some sort of armored dash with his Panzer Spähwagens. There we go, engineers finding themselves under quite a bit of fire. Riflemen holding out here.
We're losing ground out there.
And moving up towards to take that point. Anti-tank gun is ready. Sort of keeping it slightly at bay. Mines being laid down there. And there we go. Of course, I'm aware that there's a much more armored car. And in this case, of course, I want mines to sort of protect the flanks and rear of my anti-tank gun so it doesn't get rushed. At least not that easily. Riflemen taking up the attention of the armored car while the anti-tank gun sets up. I'll probably be using some armor-piercing rounds to do even more damage. And then it absolutely misses. Absolutely frustrating. Not my sort of cup of tea. And it misses again. Absolutely dreadful. Not quite what I had been expecting. Had they actually been missed, he would probably have been not so happy. And probably might be less cocky about what happens next. But laying down more mines, again, mines. When you have an opponent who's sort of extremely reliant on sort of mobility, armored cars and all that, mines. Makes them a lot easier targets once they hit them. G17 ready. And now he's getting a Marder 3. Armored cars getting repaired. Still nothing highly exciting, I do apologize for this. Though anti-tank gun once more gets something in its side, and once more it misses, my goodness. I wish I had that sort of luck when the anti-tank guns fire to my half-tracks, but sadly no. Panzergrenadiers charging in right into all of this firepower. And for some reason the anti-tank gun moves in. Apparently I made a mistake there. Jeep knocked out. This is rather unfortunate. Anti-tank gun, of course, not pointing in the right direction. T-17 moving. Other Jeep knocked out. Panzergrenadiers firing away. Anti-tank gun opening up. And the Marder somehow manages to swallow this. T-17 needs to get out of there. Panzergrenadiers are still barely alive. And they somehow manage to clear all of this out and get out of there. That's a bit bold. Somehow he actually managed to get out of this alright, much to my surprise and frustration. And half-track moving in, which was sort of supposed to be help, but instead it ends up as a target for the Marder 3. Very, very bad for me. There we go. More Panzergrenadiers with assault rifles. Absolutely terrible engagement for me. That doesn't mean everything is lost. Perhaps I should have moved in more riflemen. Perhaps I was rather been more keen on keeping them there, or perhaps I forgot all about them. Neither could I, although at that moment it sort of felt rude to sort of point that out, at least to me. My eyes, it did seem a bit more like gloating than rather surprised, but of course in hindsight, of course, you see, he is probably rather surprised it actually worked. I mean, it was rather on a razor's edge. It actually pulled off. It could easily have gone the other way with a Marder 3 and 2 Panzergrenadier teams completely wiped out. Sadly, it didn't work that out for me, but there you go. Sometimes it's all about risks. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. In this case, it worked out quite nicely for him. That doesn't mean I'm giving up. I'm certainly not going to let him move over here yet. So just keep up the pressure. Anti-tank gun has been stolen, giving him more anti-tank assets. Much to my consternation. Another T-17 on the field. Field repairs being ready. Rather figure I might want to go for a Pershing as a sort of nasty surprise, since he has all those armored cars and such. A Pershing might prove to be the sort of thing he's not expecting. Sort of a long-term plan in this case though, but could work out. As long as I use it properly. Mines being laid down again. Again, lots and lots of mines. And let us go have a look at him actually. JaegerKnightscross, who has gone Luftwaffe, getting the Luftwaffe troops to actually begin repairs since they can do it faster. Panzergrenadiers now advancing towards the north.
Grenadiers ready.
Of course, completely unawares. That's a lot of mines. Hehe. But making small movements in the north, sort of still poking about. Want to keep him over there as well. I mean, if he's sort of figuring that I'm going to be over there, then he probably might be want to also stay there. Panzergrenadiers hitting several mines, taking quite a few losses. and forced to run out of there. Armored car coming under quite a bit of fire. T-17 moving in. Could have moved in those routes, but then again, I'm sort of keen on trying to protect my flank so I don't get sort of caught up in a nasty situation like that again. Anti-tank gun moving forwards. T-17 coming under fire. Might want to get out of there. Scout car quite damaged though. Rifleman moving in up close. Taking up to cover in a hedge. And damaged engine on the scout car. Rifleman charging forward, hoping to clear up, but coming under heavy fire. Scout car though is lost. Veterans you want for the rifleman. At the same time, I want to remember sending someone over here to replace those mines. Incendiary grenades being prepared. Minor losses over here. At least he lost an armored car, having to of course then take out another scout car to sort of deal with that. More munitions being spent on that. Another anti-tank gun moving forwards. I'm not giving up again. I'm sort of keeping up the pressure there while sort of continuing keeping this a very, very hard to enter area. Panzergrenadiers once more charging in. T-17 repaired. Rifleman moving in, and there we go, charging through here. This could end up very badly, in fact. Opening up on the rifleman inside. Incendiary grenades being thrown, not a bad idea there. Forcing the rifleman out. And then charging ahead. Rifleman need to get out of there. Run, retreat, no, please. And apparently the Panzergrenadiers ignore the last one, but he needs to retreat. Come on, there we go. And charging in the T-17 to sort of salvage the situation. Scout car number 2 coming under fire once more. T-17 opening up, and there we go. Scout car number 2 coming under fire from the anti-tank gun again. And another scout car is knocked out. Flamethrowers moving in, scorching these Panzer Grenadiers. T-17 joining in the fun as well. Assault Grenadiers taking quite a bit of actual fire. Engineers though are lost. I'm going to need to move in more troops for this. Slowly edging about here. BAR's ready. Going to make things harder for his Panzer Grenadiers. T-17 charging in, opening up on these Panzer Grenadiers. We'll have to move in some troops to deal with it. Area secured once more. Riflemen charging in, perhaps hoping to deal with this, but armored car once more protecting the rear, making things a lot harder for me. But I'm still keeping up the fire. Wirbelwind also being prepared. Could mean he might be getting one. Then again, it could also mean he might be going for flak 88s, and of course, that's what coming after that. Taking the fuel point right there. T-17 blasting away at the Panzer Grenadiers here. Rifleman engineers moving in. Still a bit awfully quiet. Panzer Grenadiers forced to retreat. T-17 gains veterancy 1, which does give it more health and a rather nice sandbaggy look, I suppose. And fuel point right there secured, denying him, in fact, a lot of fuel, leaving him behind with only 1. But at the same time, though, he's managed to gain quite a lot, quite a reserve. So it's not too bad for him, in fact. Now getting group seal. Which, of course, in most cases means he's going for a rather blobby sort of tactics. And, of course, most people seem to think, well, that means I should blob rather than mean perhaps I should spread them out but still keep them together. No, a lot of people just sort of blob them up. Most tragically, taking this point, but I'm not laying down mines yet. Why? Because you can actually see a bit there. Of course, I'm not quite remember how far you can actually see from points, but there we go. So I'm going to be laying down mines. Panzer Grenadiers charging towards the west. A bit too exposed here, though, laying down mines once more to sort of protect this area. And laying down fresh ones there. Panzer Grenadiers forced away here. And of course, I'll be laying down more mines. At the same time, of course, keeping occupied here, not looking good. And I'm, of course, having to get that anti-tank gun out quickly and hope that those Panzer Grenadiers run into my mines. Sadly, though, that does not seem to be the case. Charging ahead like maniacs. Would be more appropriate in the Soviet army than anything else, but there you go. And another anti-tank gun lost. Not quite my cup of tea. Another one is ready, of course, but I'm slowly starting to realize that perhaps the west is not where I'm going to be fighting for much longer. But still, I'm going to keep him tied down for as long as possible, if possible. Weapon support center going down, rather realizing I might need something to deal with those mass Panzer Grenadier charges. Rifleman moving in, anti-tank gun just firing away for the fun of it. Panzer Grenadiers out in the open, incendiary grenade thrown, and quite lucky throw right there, kills 2 riflemen outright. Veterans 1, riflemen doing their best, suppressing them, but it is simply too late at this stage. More riflemen will be moving in though to put a stop to that business. And there we go, Panzergrenadiers well suppressed, coming under fire, but they're still doing quite a tenacious job with offensive Veterans 1. Making of course more accurate, which is a bit of a nasty problem when you're a rifleman. Still managing to do the job. Engineers also moving in to provide a bit more fire support. Anti-tank gun firing away in support. There we go, Panzergrenadiers are forced away. Mines being laid down right here. More mines, in fact, sort of making it even harder for him to move in. Always keep a surprise for your opponent, or two, or an entire minefield if necessary and possible. Again, mines can really do the trick. We are seeing a Panzer support command going up as well, actually.
Ready for action. Fall in.
Panzer Grenadiers are ready, but that seems to be about it. And he's still sort of tied up in the west, rather clumped up, while at the same time I'm sort of still keeping him there, while of course making this much harder to actually take. Much more bloody, much more violent, much more painful and expensive. Which is of course rather the key here. Sort of tie him down while you make the other bit rather inaccessible. So there you go, mid-game analysis. What does this tell us? Well, I've been rather suffering rather heavily. Why he hasn't been suffering quite as badly. He's lost some armored cars too, in fact. Scout cars more precisely. But that's about it. I mean, infantry losses have been medium to high. I mean, he's almost lost entire teams, but they've gotten out of there while I've been suffering a bit more heavily. Lost anti-tank guns, which he then proceeded to take. Armored cars and a half-track. I mean, not really the sort of luck so far. Although I am still holding most of the map, and I am sort of managing to keep him tied down with a much smaller force, while of course his major force is sort of sticking about here, not entirely sure what to do. And of course, the longer I can keep doing that, the more I can drain him of victory points, which is rather what I'm counting on here, having suffered those losses. And I'm also, of course, counting as a sort of rather already hinted at, sort of getting a Pershing tank and then sort of knocking the living stuffing out of him. So let's return to the fight. Rifleman charging ahead with a heavy machine gun in support. Panzer Grenadiers coming under fire. Exchange of fire. Heavy machine gun sending up to cover.
The enemy is seizing our territory.
Anti-tank gun opening up there. And Panzer Grenadiers charging ahead on all fronts, but I'm straight into a mine, losing one, getting suppressed. Other Panzer Grenadiers continue to charge ahead as well, running into the heavy machine gun. And riflemen in the west flank, but incendiary grenades, in fact, thrown. Mines continue to go off. Some getting pinned, some suffering rather heavy losses. Another mine is hit. My goodness, they really are suffering quite a bit there. And of course the western flank is a bit exposed now, and the heavy machine gun can just barely hit it. Good mine placement, that was certainly nice of him to say. And another Panzer Grenadier goes down, leaving behind, in fact, only one. And cleared out by the anti-tank gun. Not quite what I had intended, but there you go. More mines being laid down here, of course. More and more mines. Since, of course, I'm rather expecting this is going to be the area he's actually going to be hitting when he's finally going to be moving in larger numbers. Luftwaffe troops repairing, anti-tank gun sort of ready, but I'm not going to be charging in with armor, so they're not really doing much. But riflemen might be doing a bit of work there. Then getting gunned down, a bit unfortunate. Still, as long as he's thinking I'm going to be launching an attack there, the better. Now going for the Kampfgruppe company, meaning of course he'll be having all 4 buildings, lots of Panzer Grenadiers with assault rifles, group seal and all that. More mines is what I respond with, and a mortar. Mortars are in fact nice, and of course can be used defensively and offensively. In particular here it could be used rather well to keep this sort of area under control, making it a lot harder for his infantry to do anything. Still a few mines are still about. Wrecks being blown to bits, mines being laid down here again. The Panzer Grenadiers might be putting a stop to that rifleman advancing, and there we go, quite a bit of fire being directed at all of this. Will the mines be ready? No, sadly not. Engineer goes down, heavy machine gun turns about ready to catch those Panzer Grenadiers in its arc of fire. There we go, just charging it. Assault incendiary grenades being thrown at libitum, and a rifle team is torn to bits by that. Not quite my sort of favorite situation. A machine gun though continues to pin down those Panzergrenadiers, suppressing them. More riflemen moving in to add to the fire. Mortar rounds now begin to fly as well, increasing the unpleasant situation for those Panzergrenadiers right out in the open. Continuing to take quite a bit of fire. Although at this stage I'm rather realizing he might want to get out, in particular now that he has a Flak 88. Flugzeugabwehrkanone. Anti-tank gun not looking too good. And a Panzergrenadier team hits. Another mine is lost. Armored car sneaking about, flanking my anti-tank gun. But the Flak 88 clears it out. And armored car gets out of there, it seems. And hits another mine. Hooray! Yes, indeed, I have been laying down quite a lot of mines. So many of them, in fact, forgotten where they all are. But at this stage, I probably realize the West is lost. I mean, he's got a Flak 88 there now. A lot of other bits, so there's not really much to do. I might momentarily still keep occupied there, but it's time to really shift my defenses towards the east, more or less by now. And not stick so much around here in the west. Because I'm not being able to really hold the line for much longer, though it looks like I'm making one last charge. And a rifleman team suffers heavy losses to flak fire. Panzergrenadiers getting gunned down out in the open. Luftwaffe troops also suffering slightly. Flak 88 does quite a few more kills with its high explosive 88mm shells. More Panzergrenadiers arriving on the field to replace those lost. Looks like something is coming out there. Kampfgruppe Company, perhaps some sort of method to spot mines. Of course, Panzergrenadiers can't get such an upgrade. And of course, one thing to note though, they have to stand still. And of course, then they have to sort of detonate the mines themselves. But there you go. Moving in carefully. Apparently the upgrade is not ready quite yet. Sort of standing about, does not want to move in without an idea of what's going on. There we go, spotting it, and probably going to be detonating it very soon. And of course, getting the troops out of the range of the mine. There we go. Mine off. Crates blown to bits. And tank traps being set up, though at the same time I'm rather realizing this might be a bad time to be setting up tank traps, of course, sort of protecting against sort of moves from the west, which of course would focus his troops into the south or perhaps the north. T-17 firing away at those Panzergrenadiers. And Panzergrenadiers taking up position in the house. Not quite what I had been expecting and hoping. Engineers getting a flamethrower. And lots of firepower being directed at this building. Just blasting away. Keeping the enemy occupied a bit more with the west with some tantalizing targets. Panzergrenadiers forced away. And the engineers will probably be returning to laying down some mines. Lots and lots of mines. Mortars being set in to focus in the west. Anti-tank, and I have no idea why it moved in there. Actually, it wasn't supposed to be doing that. But for some reason it did so. Gets knocked out by that Flak 88. A bit unfortunate there. But there you go, shit happens. Nothing to do but keep carrying on, and fresh mines being laid down, and I should now be able to call in the mighty Pershing tank.
Give me a rifle, one round, and point me at Berlin.
Again, not the sort of most high-octane battle, though. I'm apologizing for that, but still I thought it was interesting, particularly doing that. You might have already noticed the extreme amount of mines and the sort of unorthodox tactics he is actually using here, which I suppose might inspire some. Riflemen advancing in, Panzergrenadiers sort of standing about in the open, being rather cheerful chaps, coming under fire from the riflemen though, who are in heavy cover, and there we go, charging in once more. Barbed wire being laid down to sort of make moving through here a lot harder, which was rather what I was hoping. In particular, since Panzergrenadiers are having trouble dealing with mines. Incendiary grenades being thrown at the building, forcing the riflemen away. But still, most of the Panzer Elite forces, the 17th SS Ausklarungs schwadron, is still utterly occupied in the west. Absolutely amazing. While I'm still holding the most sort of important areas, there's the 2 victory points, and he's below 200 victory points himself. So that's rather to my advantage. And now there we go. Pershing heavy tank on the field. Certainly going to make things a lot harder for him when he actually meets it. Question is, of course, when does he meet it? Something underway from the Panzer Support Command. Panzergrenadiers moving in. T-17 moving in to put a stop to that nonsense. Heavy machine gun put up there. Engineers advancing. Mortar also advancing. And the Pershing set are in a sort of a reserve position. Do not want to sort of expose it right away. Mine set off, but the T-17 puts a stop to that. And so does the heavy machine gun. T-17 going to need repairs. Small engagement and riflemen were apparently forgotten. Takes quite a beating, but they managed to get out there alive. Mortar in a nice set-up position right there at the front. And still most of his forces are absolutely occupied in the west. Which isn't really going to help him taking the east.
Eyes on me, infantry.
Much to my luck. And of course, renewing the mine defenses. Aha. Let's speed things up a bit. And hitting a mine. Apparently he did not spot it, perhaps due to the barbed wire. And Panzer IV charging in, crashing in fact. Blasting through the walls, a most bold and decisive tactic. T-17 fires off a white phosphorus round, at least it should be doing right there. And then comes the surprise, a Pershing tank. Opening up, meaning things are going to be a lot harder for that Panzer IV. Panzergrenadiers are stuck right here. Throwing an incendiary grenade at the machine gun team, but it doesn't really do much. And the machine gun team, oh dear, mine goes soft, destroying the engine, but Panzergrenadiers are taking heavy losses. Pershing charges in. Not too far though, don't want to risk it running into something nasty, but still able to get a few nasty shots off at that Panzer IV. There we go. Pershing will have to get out of there. Heavy machine gun getting right back into the building. Pershing pulling back. Do not want it to be at a sort of exposed position, otherwise he's just going to be sort of working to knock that out. And me just curious as to what his real level is. Since of course he seems to be rather competent. Apparently he's not sure, but there you go. He himself has a strong defensive line in the west, but the trouble is not where most of the victory points are. They are here. I'm certainly making things very, very difficult for him, quite intentionally. Supply at upgrade number 2. Not a bad thing, more engineers. Riflemen taking up positions in all buildings, including these one as well. It can in fact be occupied. Most people rarely do so, but it's not an entirely bad building. It can cover the south, the east, the north, and even the west. Although these trees are a bit obscuring, and of course it rather makes it hard to see, but still, there you go. Moving in his Marder 3, it seems. Moving in numerous ones. Panzergrenadiers charging in, incendiary grenades being thrown. Rifleman gets out of there, wisely enough. Panzergrenadiers are charging in, mortar rounds are flying. Panzergrenadiers charging ahead, awfully close to any mines. Getting suppressed, Marders advancing. Spotting a few, setting one off, but they are a bit too close and are forced to retreat. Pershing moving forward, perhaps hoping to catch that Marder 3, but no, it seems to be a bit caught up in a wrecked garage. But immediately getting repaired. Rifleman moving in, and a sticky bomb has been prepared, specifically for this Marder 3. There we go. Damaged engine hussar. Panzer IV repaired, is moving in once more. And the tank gun also moving in this one time, actually getting it to the right side of the map. And he's sort of perplexed at all the mines I'm using. Panzer IV setting up, locking down, perhaps hoping to provide a firing support position there. Luftwaffe troops coming under mortar fire. Panzer IV coming under quite a bit of fire as well from the Pershing. Marder 3 advancing, T-17 also advancing. A lot of fire being directed at the Panzer IV. Marder 3 setting up. Anti-tank gun almost ready. Panzergrenadiers leading the charge. Panzer IV is mobilized. In fact, Pershing are opening up. on the Marder 3. Or is it the Panzergrenadiers? Who knows? Heavy machine gun though catching those Panzergrenadiers outside. Riflemen firing away from the safety of the building. Panzergrenadiers suffering heavy losses. Marder 3 blasting away at the Pershing, but he's unable to really penetrate the frontal armor. But there we go. Pack 40 doing the damage. Incendiary grenade thrown at this building, it seems like. Riflemen getting out. Marder 3 a bit exposed. Anti-tank gun is ready. Marder 3 almost knocked out. Panzer grenades hitting another mine. Marder 3 knocked out. Pershing knocking out the Panzer 4. Only one Marder 3 is left. Landmines everywhere. Yes, indeed, good sir. Landmines from Dane's Landmine Emporium. If you want mines, then you can't find them here. I'm using them myself. And again, a successful defense can rather rely heavily on mines. Again, you basically want your opponent to fear every step, and mines really do that quite well. In particular when you're dealing with the Panzer Elite, which has a bit of a trouble dealing with mines since they don't have mine sweepers. And now laying down some barbed wire to make things harder, and let us go return to Mr. JaegerKnightscross. And of course, this is rather the important bit, spare time. I mean, if you have a lot of time and there's nothing here, for example, one side, do something with it, lay down barbed wire, mines, tank traps, anything. Just don't be passive. Passiveness is bad. You always want to be doing something with your troops. I mean, engineers, if they're not doing something, have them lay down something. I mean, do something. Not inactive, but active. Aggressive, not passive or timid, whatever. Marder 3's anti-tank guns really, now he's sort of actually emptying out his defenses in the west. Rather interestingly, not a lot left here. In fact, a few armored cars, the Flag 80 anti-tank gun, but really now he's sort of slowly stripping the defenses. And he might be stripping them even more to sort of keep up the pressure here. In particular, since I've now been able to sort of reverse things on him. Panzergrenadiers, Luftwaffe troops, anti-tank guns, Marders all moving in, ready for the assault. More mines being laid down, yes indeed. Pershing ready, Veterans 1 increases speed. There we go, a small hole in the wall. Panzergrenadiers are advancing, coming under fire, and the Pershing will be bursting through the Bocage. Panzergrenadiers, team number 2 coming under fire from the heavy machine gun. Mortar rounds landing in. Pershing opening up, all the Panzergrenadiers doing quite a bit of damage. Riflemen charging in. Panzergrenadiers throwing an incendiary grenade at the heavy machine gun right there. And another assault has been ruined. Another anti-tank gun moving in. Desperate to turn the tide. Anti-tank gun here is rather exposed itself. Armored cars now also moving in, leaving behind only a few scout cars and a Flag 88. Butterfly mines being used, but again, no, they are mines, not bombs. Some people do seem to be that perception that they are bombs and mines, but there we go. Anti-tank guns firing, armored car moving in to sort of save the situation. Just barely. Anti-tank gun advancing right into the line of fire of the Pershing. Opening up. Pershing turns around. One shot and the anti-tank gun is no more. Looks like another assault is being set up. Half-track moving in. AA mount, rather protecting myself because I've noticed he's gone Luftwaffe and he might be going for the Henschel strafing run. In which case I want some AA fire. And again, I just also like the firepower it can provide. Panzergrenadiers hitting another mine. Once more putting a stop to the assault. Butterfly mines being laid down. Heavy machine gun opening up. Riflemen getting torn to bits. But a mortar round does the same to the Panzergrenadiers who are bottled up. Another assault moves in desperately. Now the final moments are quite active. AA half-track opening up. Pershing and half-track slays the Panzergrenadiers. And yes, indeed, too many mines. It gave me too much time to lay it down. So again, if you're rather keen on an American ass in fighting the defensive, lay down mines. If you want to avoid that, of course, speed. Don't just sort of focus on one side and then ignore the rest, because then he might be using that to put up so many mines, as you might have noticed there. And flak, well, as some of you might remember, I have been facing this sort of situation where someone had a flak right down here. What did I do? Mortar smoke makes things a lot harder to cover with it. But not really, I have a Calliope soon as well. Plus, of course, mortar smoke. Mortar smoke can make the difference. And looks like the remains of the 17th SS Ausklarungs schwadron is moving in. The Marder 3s were in fact part of the Panzerjägerabteilung. They were supposed to actually have Jagdpanzer force, but they were not able to get anyone, so they had to rely on the Marder 3s. Marder 3 knocks out the half-track though, that's a bit unfortunate. Quite a bit of manpower just in case I lose something. Panzergrenadiers charging in, but coming under fire, being scorched, being burned. Panzergrenadiers running through the wreckage, through this zone of death. Looks quite like a nice little battlefield. Barbed wire, wrecked masonry, wrecked trucks, and there we go. Henschel's moving in.
Weapon crew reporting casualties.
Opening up, Pershing taking quite a bit of fire. Pershing trying to get out of there, but will it succeed? And Henschel moves in with his 75mm gun and knocks out the Pershing. Oh, if only I had 800 manpower. Oh, wait, I do. Instantly replaced, and another half-track. Of course, a bit too late to provide AA cover, and there we go. Good game, mate. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. A rather interesting fight. Perhaps not the most high-octane, but I certainly hope you still enjoyed it. And what can we learn from this? Well, I think the main property was here, right? That mines can make a difference if you use them cleverly, and use them a lot. As I used here, so of course I hope you take this lesson with you, of course. Barbed wire can also make a bit of difference, but of course also the key in sort of keeping your opponent tied down in one sector can rather make things a lot easier for the rest of the map, in particular if you're fighting in the less important one, like say the one with only one victory point. And of course, use time when you have it to lay down defenses, lay down mines. And of course, don't get stuck up in one side while the opponent has the more important side. That's of course also important, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? This is ImperialDane saying mines are great. Cheers.